everyone, and welcome back to another video of my YouTube channel and blog. Today I'm going to be making a card celebrating the new year. So I cut out of on my Cricut machine a 2018. I cut it out two times in white. I think I used 110-pound Neenah, and then one time in gold glitter stock. And I'm just layering those up together using some Nuvo Deluxe adhesive. And it's real easy to line these up. If you just squish them between your fingers, you can get them to line up real easy, especially using the thick cardstock. This almost makes like a chipboard kind of piece to go on your cards. Very, very thick and very sturdy. So I thought I'd make one last card for the New Year's. I've kind of been taking it easy this last week, just enjoying a break after the holidays, and before I hit it hard and heavy again in the new year, showing a bunch of new or more techniques and new products coming out for the new year. I did use some of my newer products in this video. I had bought a while back some Nuvo brushes, and I'm going to be using those today in a stencil. And I think it turned out real pretty. At first I was wanting to go vibrant colors with this card, and then I kind of decided to take it in a different direction and use some of my favorite Distress Oxide inks. So my stencil that I'm using today is by Simon Says Stamp. It is the CAROLYN stencil. It kind of looks like a stained glass window almost. And so now I'm just starting with some cracked pistachio, and then I will blend that into peacock feathers. And this is my first time to ever use a brush on my stencils, and I think the biggest tip that I could tell you is a light hand. I was trying to go hard and heavy to transfer more ink, and I saw more brush strokes in it. And so then when I lightened up, it was more light and consistent in color, and didn't have the brush strokes in it. So my best tip would be to a light hand and just keep going over it until you achieve the color that you're looking for. And also, these were new brushes, so once ink got into the brushes, it also helped with the transfer of the color and smoothness and everything. So just going around the outside, blending the cracked pistachio and the peacock feathers together. So almost done going around the outside. And then on the inside, I'm going to add some Seedless preserves and Wilted violet. I thought all these colors looked really pretty together, and made for a really nice looking background. And kind of looked really good with the gold accents that I'm going to have with this card. At first I wasn't too sure if I liked how, you know, it went out of those center lines, but then I got to where I liked it, and I did go back and blend some peacock feathers or cracked pistachio back in there too, and it all kind of blended together, and it just looked like it made a smooth transition. I got these distress crayons in one of my recent Simon Says Stamp kits, and so I decided to use the antique bronze. No, I used tarnished brass, not antique bronze. I used tarnished brass, and just go around and go into some of these little areas, and really kind of make it look more like a little stained glass picture. And I just use my finger just to rub it in there good. A lot of times when people use these distress crayons, they just use their finger to rub them in whatever areas are on the edge of your paper, or however you're wanting to accent your card with a little bit of gold. So I hope everybody has some fun plans for the New Year's Eve, which it'll be tomorrow, and everybody has a safe and happy holiday. There we go, there's the big reveal. I thought it turned out really nice. I really liked it. And all that's easy cleanup with just a baby wipe, and then I dried it off with a paper towel. Okay, so now I've trimmed this down, and I decided that I needed to bring in a little bit more of that gold, and I'm just kind of smushing it around the edge and then kind of rubbing it in with my finger just to give it a little bit of a frame around the edge, and like I said, and bring in a little bit more of that gold. And again, easy cleanup with a baby wipe, and dry it off with a paper towel. Okay, so I cut a 5x7 piece of gold glitter cardstock, and I'm going to be mounting my focal image onto that. So right now I'm just trying to get some placement, in my head, and I'm using from Honeybee Stamps Celebration Sentiments, and I'm using the big word celebrate on the front of my card. And the E is separate because with this stamp set you can make celebrate or celebration or celebrating, and it has a whole bunch of little words to make just about everything except for New Year's Eve. But so I decided to use the It's a Party that you can make with this sentiment. So I'm just lining it up in my MISTI. I figured this would be the easiest way to get it straight and to get it even, especially when you got to stamp the celebrate and then you've got to stamp the E in there too. So just rubbing it down with some anti-static powder and then inking it up really good with VersaMark ink. And I want to mash that down really good, make sure I get a good impression, and transfer the VersaMark ink really solid. And you can see the shimmer of the VersaMark ink on the paper, so I just lined up the E over the top. I picked it up with the door and then inked it up, and now ready to pour on the embossing powder. And I'm using Princess Gold by Ranger. I thought it blended well with all the other gold that I'm using. It matched really well. And then I'll just heat set that with my heat tool. Okay, so here's my panel with that all heat set and ready to go. So now I'm just going to get my 2018 lined up and positioned and glued down. And again, I'm just using a little bit of the Nuvo Deluxe adhesive to attach my 2018 to the panel. And I'm going to do the 2 and the 8 first, and then I'll center the 0 and the 1 in between. It kind of felt like this was the easiest way to get it, centered, to do the first and last, and then you space out the other 2 evenly in the center. And this just takes a minute. The Deluxe adhesive sets up really quickly, so you can just move right along with your project. Okay, I'm going to set that aside, and I'm going to bring in my card base. Here again, I was looking back over my stamp set, make sure I didn't miss a New Year's Eve in there somewhere, but I didn't. So I'm going to use the It's a Party with the exclamation point that's included in the set. And so I'm going to grab my card base here, and I couldn't decide what to put inside the card base, so I decided to go back with my stencil and spray a little bit of Heidi Swapp Gold Shine, just to give the faint hint of the stencil again. I thought, repeating it on the inside, would look nice and kind of made for a little bit of an elegant card, I thought. And I just brought in my heat tool, my little heat tool from Ranger, and dried that a little bit so the cardstock would lay back down flat and that I can move right along with my project. So I just heated it up a little bit from front to back. And so getting out the MISTI again so I can line up the It's a Party. And because I do 5x7 cards, it's a little hard to do the insides of your card, so I folded it backwards and just used my magnets to hold it down the best that I could, and get this little phrase lined up. Decided to pick it up first with the It's a Party with my door, and then I'll put the little exclamation point on it, and just using the grid lines on the door of my MISTI to make sure that I get it nice and straight. And then I just put the little exclamation point on there. And I'm just going to use some the distressed oxide ink that I used on the outside of the card, on the inside of the card for the It's a Party. And I think it turned out well. Alright, and just do a little bit of quick cleanup again. Get rid of the overspray from the gold shine. I like for the insides of my cards to be cohesive with the outside of the card. So, you know, with colors and either, you know, the additional stamps out of the same stamp set, or, you know, again with the stencil, and just for a more cohesive feel. And so I just used my Scotch ATG gun and attached my glitter cardstock, and then more Scotch ATG to attach this panel. Probably should have used some liquid adhesive too, just to make sure that it holds real tight to the glittered cardstock. Here's a final look at the front and inside of the card, and I hope everybody has a safe and happy New Year's Eve. See you in 2018!